their values and what they believe in. MediShare works too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Summer deals are heating up at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get up to $7,000 off a brand new 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro. Or choose 0% APR for 36 months plus no payments for 90 days on select 25 Sierra 1500s. Need more muscle? Drive off in a 25 Sierra 3500 with 3.9% APR for 48 months, or grab $2,750 select market purchase allowance. GMC Professional Grade. These offers won't last. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today, online at hurlchev.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Today, southwesterly winds will increase 20 to 30 miles per hour and turn up the heat into the mid to upper 90s. And the drying out of the atmosphere will drop relative humidities into the teens, but fuels are green due to recent rain, so no fire weather products will be issued by the National Weather Service. The hot, dry, and windy conditions will continue tomorrow and through the weekend. Highs tomorrow and Saturday will possibly reach into the mid-100s near records set as far back as 1936 and would be close to heat advisory levels, so stay hydrated and cool. Southwesterly winds gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour will add to the dryness. Lows will be 65 to 70, and Sunday will still be hot in the mid to upper 90s with gusty southwesterly winds continuing. But a late-day cool front sagging south out of western Nebraska will bring evening and overnight storms back into the forecast. The front will fully move through on Monday. We'll add additional chances for showers and storms, drop our high temperatures to around 80. This is meteorologist Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio is the place to turn to weekdays for the latest agriculture news and markets. Being a member of the National Association of Farm Broadcasters, we take pride in making sure you're informed of the latest news from the world of agriculture. Whether it's local, state, regional, or national, if it affects your farm or ranch, you can count on hearing it here. Daily reports from Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio are made possible by Farmers State Bank, Norder Supply of Scott City, Cornerstone Ag, and Woofter Construction and Irrigation.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Summer deals are heating up at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get up to $7,000 off a brand new 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro. Or choose 0% APR for 36 months plus no payments for 90 days on select 25 Sierra 1500s. Need more muscle? Drive off in a 25 Sierra 3500 with 3.9% APR for 48 months, or grab $2,750 select market purchase allowance. GMC Professional Grade. These offers won't last. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today, online at hurlchev.com.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Where is the best place to go to stream your favorite NWKS radio station? NWKSradio.net. Where should you go to find out what's happening in the area? NWKSradio.net. What's happening with local area sports? NWKSradio.net. Is the weather causing delays or cancellations? NWKSradio.net. Need tickets to the next big NWKS radio event? NWKSradio.net. The place to go to be in the know. NWKSradio.net.
Owner Mr. Mike Cochran, Edson, Kansas, has sold a lot of iron with his CFS Auction Company. It's an online auction service that sells one item or a complete farm dispersal. It's powered by AuctionTime.com with thousands of bidders. Mike works one-on-one with you from start to finish. I mean, he realizes that it's your life investment. There can be a lot of emotions. So he pledges to get you top dollar. He offers very competitive commission rates. Go online to CFSauctions.com, like Cochran Farm Supply. That's CFSauctions.com.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
The High Plains only local sports talk show.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover, back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the insurance agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Dominic Carbone's 0-1. On the ground at Barango, who backs up, gloves, Carbone covers. Coastal wins it. The teal is for real. 26 in a row. And the Shots will see you Saturday in the championship series.
2-0 pitch. One on, hit deep to left. Chasing Wood back. Wood looking up. It's gone again into the Rockies bullpen. The two last night were left-handed. This one right-handed for Michael Tolia. Breaks his scoreless tie. 1-0 Rockies.
Run. He does get one to hit. It's off the glove of the second baseman. And here comes Hernandez. LSU is on to the finals. They pitched to Jones, and it bounced off the glove of Cam Kojal. And the Tigers are going back to the finals.
Oh, we are back and glad to be with you here on the Morning Blitz, here on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, as well as NWKSradio.net, as well as the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Back after vacation, I'm glad to be back with you here on the Blitz, and hope that you are tuning in to catch it no matter which way you are listening or watching. But yes, back after a nice little vacation over to Gunnison, Colorado is where I was. Wonderful part of the country. I love that area. Beautiful. Lots of different things to do. Was able to go and spend some time fly fishing in the Gunnison River, which I do enjoy doing. I don't do it very much because, it's hard to go fishing rivers around these parts. But when I get a chance, I do love to go do that. Did some fishing in the Gunnison River, caught multiple fish. It was a good time there. And then spent some time on the golf course as well for the first time in over a year. Played okay, minus depositing 4 balls in some sort of water, which probably would have kept my score a little bit lower. Obviously, if I hadn't done that, if I would have cut that in half, might have actually shot pretty well for only playing for the first time in a year. But like I said, some golf, some fishing. Were the kind of the highlights of the trip. And then, it's also one of those deals where I'm at that age in my life where my kids are, at their ages where they are great and I love them, but they can also be a bit challenging on the trips. And so I've joked with a lot of people that, I come back to the show. You hope to come back from vacation rested and recharged. And I feel about the same as when I left. That just kind of happens. You take your kids with you on a trip. I don't know if it's really a vacation. No offense to my kids, but that's just the truth. But Anyway, glad to be back with you here on the Morning Blitz. Not only did we, take the kids, also kind of came back with a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of like a head cold or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. It was much needed to get away. I do know that it certainly is relaxing when you don't have to worry about getting ready for a show each evening or writing a sports report. That part though is relaxing, and I did enjoy that. But we're back and rolling here for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have a few days off around the 4th of July as I got another idea going. We'll be back here for another week and a half or so. I was looking at the calendar. I mean, but first and foremost, happy Juneteenth to all those who celebrate and all those people who get the day off. Congratulations. I'm jealous. But really, look at the calendar. We've only got, 20 days left after today? 20 days left of the month of June. It's over. I mean, June's going to be done a week from this coming Monday. And so, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. That's going to be over. Speaking of the month of June, reminder, folks, that there's been lots of people asking about this for a long time. But June 26th, that would be a week from today, June 26th from 4 until 6 Mountain Time. You're going to want to stop by our new studio location here in Goodland at the old Pizza Hut. We are having our open house from 4 to 6. You can tour the building and see the studios, or you can meet the staff. There's going to be some yummy snacks and some good music as well. Ribbon cutting with the Goodland ambassadors, the green coats. So once again, if you want to come on by, that would be a week from today. That is the Goodland Studios open house from 4 until 6. And we hope to see you out here checking out the new studios. You can see more than what you just see behind me. You can see what else is around here in the KKCI, as well as the KLOE studios and the office area out in the lobby. So anyway, hope to see you there on the 26th. Going to be a hot one today. Before we get into some sports, I want to remind folks today is today and the next couple of days, very dangerous heat is how I would describe it. Some very dangerous heat. Today going to be 97. Yesterday, a very nice day. Temperatures in the mid 80s. Today, 97 today with some wind, and then triple digits the next 3 days. It is going to get hot, and it is going to dry things out. 103 tomorrow, 102 Saturday, and 100 on Sunday with plenty of wind before we finally cool back down next week, starting on Monday. But with this heat, as it's kind of the first true, real heat that we've had here in a while, make sure that you drink plenty of fluids, take care of your animals as well if they're outside. It's going to be really, really hot. So plenty of fluids, plenty of water, and be aware of that. And also going to be windy too, which makes it even extra fun, if they want to put it that way, in quotations, fun. So there you go. Hot weather's coming your way today and through the upcoming weekend. Well, today's show, we will be visiting with our good friend, former host of the Morning Blitz, and now the executive director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl, Bryce Kessler. He's going to join us coming up here in about 15 minutes. We'll be talking to him about the Kansas Shrine Bowl that is taking place in Emporia coming up here this Saturday. And, of course, the week of festivities leading in that he's currently a part of right now. So we'll be visiting with Bryce coming up here in just a little bit, the executive director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. But most of the rest of the show, we are going to be kind of looking back. What did we miss? I mean, we're in the middle part of summer. I mean, yes, the NBA playoffs could wrap up tonight if the Oklahoma City Thunder could take down a Pacers squad that is missing Tyrese, that could be missed. It's going to be missing a full strength, fully healthy Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, that's pretty much what's going on in the NBA Finals. So we could see OKC wrap that up here today. And then, we already know who's playing for the Men's College World Series after yesterday's showings of Coastal Carolina and LSU. And so we know that they're going. So, and then, of course, we just got Major League Baseball with the Royals and the Rockies. More on that in a minute as well. But like I said, there's not a ton of other things going on out there in the sporting world, to be completely truthfully honest. So with that, what did we miss while we were gone here from the Morning Blitz over this past week? Well, first and foremost, congratulations again to the Florida Panthers, who are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions of the NHL. They get it done, winning in dominant fashion over Edmonton 4-0, and Florida picks up the Lord Stanley Cup. And just an impressive showing. Lots of guys playing hurt to get it done. I mean, there was a guy who had his hand cut. There were guys that were playing on, pretty much one good leg. But Florida gets it done. They take care of Edmonton, who falls again. Another tough one there for one of the best players in the game, and Connor McDavid. Is Edmonton, the Oilers can't get it done, and they lose. So the cup, Lord Stanley's Cup, I should say, stays in South Florida with back-to-back Stanley Cup wins for the Florida Panthers. And good friend of the program, Riley Gates, very stoked about that, as he is a big Florida Panthers fan. So that was probably one of the biggest things. And I don't know, I was watching some of the some Sports Center last night, and they were talking about all of where the cup has gone. And that Stanley's Cup, it's just one of the cool, to me, it's one of the coolest things is that the NHL has is once Lord Stanley's Cup is in the building, how it changes. It changes the energy in a building, how it changes when it is presented. The guys wearing the gloves and setting it on the podium there on the ice. Each guy and executive gets to take a picture with the cup or kiss the cup and raise it up for the fans. And then they get to take the cup around to where they want to go and drink beer, eat cereal out of it, or throw it in the ocean and take it out. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just so you don't see that with the big lipstick. I always like the tuba lipstick from the national championship of college football. You don't see that with the big old wooden plaque, or they're not plaques. They look like big wooden trophies, plaque trophies that they give out, for volleyball or for softball, baseball, or basketball. They give out those. The NCAA does. There's all kinds of things. You just don't see that type of trophy presentation and fun that you have with the trophy after it's all said and done. And so I think that's just something unique and cool to see with Lord Stanley's Cup. I'm actually kind of intrigued. F&B Bank text line 785-899-2222 if you'd like to hop on the program and give your thoughts. What would you do if you had a chance to have Lord Stanley's Cup for a day? What would you do with it? I don't even know what I would do. I have no clue. I'm sure a lot of people around here wouldn't either, because I don't think hockey. I mean, hockey is a good sport, but I'm not saying it's the most popular sport that we follow out here on the High Plains. So yes, Florida wins back-to-back Stanley Cups over Edmonton. Probably the biggest thing we missed. The second biggest thing we missed, I'm telling you, the Colorado Rockies, folks, are hot. They are hot. They even won again last night. They have won 4 in a row and 5 of their last 7. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe it's because I went over into the state of Colorado, and maybe that's what sparked this comeback here for the Rockies. I don't know. They have certainly found something. The Nationals cannot be happy, as the Rockies will try and go for a 4-game sweep here this afternoon, as that's who they've kind of won most of their games against. But still, winning 4 in a row and 5 of their last 7 has them feeling better. They're up to 17 wins. I mean, they've won almost a third of their games this season now within the last week. So they've done a really good job of finding a little bit of a patch here where they got on a roll. It's such a long season. You had to think at some point in time that these are all major league players. They all get paid. You had to think at some point in time they were going to find a stretch where they were going to put a few things together. I know when I looked at the schedule a couple of times a few weeks back, I said, they may not win this. If they don't win a series here, they may not win one until here. I was wrong, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, it's in the games, in the game of sport, and being professionals, you would think you thought at some point in time they would find a few wins and string them together. Now, they've buried themselves so deep that the postseason is way, way out of the picture. But now it's about just trying to avoid embarrassment. It's about trying to avoid being the worst baseball team in the modern era. That's going to be one of the biggest things. Can you do that? And we shall see. We shall see if you can do that, the Rockies. One big reason for a great spark here as of late, how about Michael Toglia coming back here just a couple days ago, and the switch-hitting big man has finally found his power in the big leagues. He has 3 homers over the last 2 games, including 2 last night against Washington. That's a guy that they would love to see brings some power to Coors Field. That's probably been one of the biggest surprises, as we've talked about multiple times on this show, is how the Rockies do not play to what their ballpark allows. They should be hitting more power, and they just don't seem to have it, and they haven't been able to develop that power. Hopefully that send down to the minors for Michael Tolia will help him spark some more power, and thus far that has worked. We'll see if that continues here. But Rockies are hot. They still have the worst record in the MLB, but guess what? They're hot. Won four in a row and 5 of the last 7. You can't feel bad about that. The Royals, while we were gone, really, while we left, I should say while I left and the show was off for a few days, the Royals were in a downslide, having lost, 5 out of 6, but have won now 2 straight. Had lost 5 out of 6, and now have won 2 straight. As I was trying to say, they were swept by the Yankees, and then they were swept by the Athletics as well before finding something here against Texas, where they've won 2 straight, and we'll try and go for a sweep here this afternoon. Michael Garcia with a huge game yesterday, a 3-run homer and an RBI triple as well for Michael Garcia. Huge game for him. Hasn't been much for Jack Caglione. Does, of course, have a hit, has a couple of hits, but hasn't been as successful as I think some people thought. But like I said, Michael Garcia has been having a really, really good year so far. But the Royals, like I said, trying to rebound after losing 5 out of 6. I've seen a lot of that this year in Major League Baseball. Seen a lot of runs, whether it's wins or losses. You see teams get going, and they are, they win, maybe they sweep a series, maybe win 2 out of 3 the next, and then drop the next series in its entirety, get swept. I mean, seen a lot of that from the Royals, the Diamondbacks, other teams around Major League Baseball. Seen a lot of that this year, which tells you that the league is very competitive. Although there are, of course, multiple teams that are having phenomenal seasons and are white hot, whether it's the Tigers or the Dodgers or the Padres or even the Giants. I mean, that NL West is just completely stacked in Major League Baseball. But like I said, Royals have won 2 straight. We'll see if they can get a win tonight against the Rangers again and keep on those winning ways. I kind of mentioned a few minutes ago, talking about the College World Series, an update from that. The national championship game is set. Coastal Carolina and LSU will be your national championship for men's college baseball here starting on Saturday. So because of how the bracket laid out, they give a day to kind of make up. They leave 2 days. They leave 1 day for rest and recovery, and another day for, if there are, it's because it's double elimination. You need that extra day to make sure you can get those games in. Well, they didn't need it. Coastal Carolina went 2-0 to start. LSU went 2-0 to start, and every team that tried to come back through the losers bracket and win 2 games against them was defeated. Coastal just absolutely blew the doors off of Louisville yesterday. The Shots went out there and went 6 of 11 with runners in scoring position, just absolutely belted the baseball, especially with guys in scoring position, which is what you have to do. And then their pitching has been so good all season long. So they win 11-3 over Louisville, ending the Cardinals season. But Coastal Carolina up to the national championship game, which is where they were the last time they were in Omaha, and they won it. We'll see if they do it again here in 2025. So, Coastal's in the national championship, which is probably a little bit of a surprise. And then on the other side of the bracket, LSU back in the national title game for the 8th time in its program history and first time since 2023. The fascinating fact about LSU in men's baseball is that whenever they're in the national title game, that usually means they're going to win. They are 7 for 7 in their previous 7 national title game appearances. They have not lost a national title game as LSU, or national title game series, I should say, as LSU. They have been there 7 times, and they have won 7 titles. Will it be 8 for 8? That will be the question. I think it's a fascinating series because you have LSU, who is considered probably the ultimate power in college baseball. They are the Bama of college baseball, if you want to call it that. That's how I would say it. If you want to compare it in college football, they are the Duke of college basketball to an extent. Just because they have unbelievable facilities, they have unbelievable funding, they have one of the best coaches in college baseball, and they've had it for a long time as well. Prior coaches and facilities. We've got some of the best fan support. They're one of the few, and I mean you could count these teams, few baseball teams that actually turn a profit, as in they make money at the end of the year in comparison to a lot of college baseball teams around the country that lose money. They actually make money. They sell enough tickets and all that stuff to make it worthwhile. But LSU back in the national title game, they are just they've got all the talent. They've got the coaching. They've got the history, the tradition. They've got all that stuff on their back. And then you have Coastal, who is just the hottest team in college baseball. They have won 26 straight games. They have not lost since April, I don't think. I mean, they have been just unbelievably hot. They have finished out the regular season on a high note. They went through the Sun Belt Conference tournament, winning that. And then they've rolled and not lost a single game through regionals, through supers, and now at the Men's College World Series. They are just absolutely white hot as Coastal Carolina, underneath the first-year head coach, and I think it's Kevin Brown. So unbelievable to see what Coastal has done. And those two are going to be the two teams that play for the national title. Now, Coastal has had I believe, an easier path, as much as I would love to see Coastal win. And I'm pulling for them starting on Saturday at 5 o'clock Mountain, 6 Central Time. But Coastal's had the easier path. They've had, I think, the easier side of the bracket. LSU had to go through Arkansas twice and did beat them twice to get there. Speaking of Arkansas, I'm telling you, that's another one of those programs, like one of the few I said you could count on a hand that turns a profit. And you talk about facilities, coaching, tradition, all that stuff, and they don't lose money. That's a profitable program underneath Dave Van Horn. But it makes you wonder, will Arkansas ever win a title? Because they've never gotten it done. They've come so close many a times, but it honestly just kind of feels like when they get to Omaha, they are cursed. There were some great stats last night on SEC Now talking about Arkansas baseball. They came in one of the most dominating offenses in college baseball, but at the College World Series, they went 3 for 26 with runners in scoring position. They did not hit the ball when guys were on base. It's a humongous stat that you got to be good at in order to win big games. Got to be able to hit the ball with guys in scoring position. Couldn't get it done. And defensively, they were one of the best defensive teams in the nation coming into this College World Series, but they had 4 errors in Omaha. And so not that that's a ton of errors, but it's still more than what you thought. So they had a lot of problems last night. I mean, they were up 5-3 in the 9th, and they had a play to the shortstop, should have been double play. He went to third for some reason. Don't know why that happened. They hit the ball out to left field, went off the guy's glove. That tied the game up. And then they had the walk-off winner for LSU go off the top of the second baseman's glove, which I don't know if that was a difficult play. I don't know if you would have been able to make that or not. But like I said, it's almost like as if Omaha is kind of a house of horrors for Arkansas baseball. And I feel bad for Dave Van Horn, head coach for Arkansas. I'd love to see him get a national championship, but it's just not happening. They did, though, before we get to a break, have one of the coolest moments in CWS history a few days ago.
And everybody is standing at Charles Schwab Field. One strike from history. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wood deals. Swung on and missed. It's a no-hitter. Helfrich grabs Wood. His teammates surround him. Everybody storming out of the bullpen. The 3rd no-hitter in College World Series history is pitched by Arkansas's Gage Wood. What a moment in Omaha.
That's right. Gage Wood with the first no-hitter in over 60 years there in Omaha. That was in the 3rd one all time. Absolutely nuts. The stat line was amazing. 9 innings, a complete game on like 115 pitches with 19 strikeouts. 19 strikeouts. There are 27 outs in baseball. He struck out 19 of them. He did not have a walk. He did not have a hit. He plunked a guy. He hit 1 batter. That was the difference between a unbelievable perfect game and what was a great no-hitter. So Gage Wood with an unbelievable performance. And the coolest thing to see was after he had it, he gave the game ball to his dad on Father's Day. That was super cool too. But yeah, Gage Wood, a no-hitter. So that was the highlight for Arkansas, who once again their season ended last night there in Omaha. So LSU and Coastal Carolina playing for the national championship starting on Saturday. All right, it is 7:31 Mountain, 8:31 Central Time here on a Thursday, June 19th. Glad that you're with us here on the Morning Blitz, whether you're on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream or, of course, on the old-fashioned radio. Appreciate you doing that. Michael chiming in on the FB Bank text line before we get to the break. I appreciate you, Michael, tuning in. I'm glad to be back. He's talking about his Red Sox, but are on fire since getting rid of Rafi Devers, which that was big news while we were gone. Rafi Devers for the Giants. What were your thoughts, Michael, on Devers going to the Giants and saying, "Yeah, I'll play first base," which is what the Red Sox want to do, but he said, "No, I'm not going to do that." And then let's see here for the Lord. I guess I really only do this. So, okay. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. But what are your thoughts on the Rafi Devers now saying he'll play first? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. All right, 7:32 Mountain now. Let's get to a break. We'll come back. Bryce Kessler is going to join us next. Talk about the Kansas Shrine Bowl, which gets going here on Saturday. I mean, the whole week is going on, but the game itself is on Saturday. We'll get to that next here in the Morning Blitz.
The crew at Great Western Tire tend to get their uniforms dirty because they work on tires. Maybe that's why they really recommend and sell Speed Queen washers and dryers. These machines simply get your laundry cleaner and are so gentle on your clothes. Their popular Speed Queen sets don't have all the fancy electronic buttons that look like the inside of a jet airliner, but simple controls that are built to last. They've sure sold a lot of these sets all around the area. Your clothes will be cleaner with a Speed Cleaner. See the kings of Speed Queen at Great Western Tire of Oakley, Colby, and Scott City.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good afternoon. This is Tyler Ghosh with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your closing market update. It is Wednesday, June 18th. Through the session today, July corn closed up 2 cents at 4.33.5, and September closed up 5 1/4 at 4.29, and December closed up 5 1/4 at 4.44. Beans on the July closed up a 3/4 cent at 10.74 3/4. The September closed up 0.5 cent at 10.61 1/4, and November closed up 0.5 cent at 10.68 1/4. Kansas City wheat on the July closed up 23.5 at 5.71 1/4. September up 24 cents at 5.86 1/2. And December closed up 24.5 at 6.08 1/2. Chicago wheat on the July closed up 25 1/4 at 5.74 1/4. September closed up 25 cents at 5.90 1/2. And December closed up 25 1/4 at 6.12 1/4. Live cattle closed up 102 1/2 at 211.67. Feeders up 90 cents at 303.80. Lean hogs up 20 cents at 112. S&P 500 is up 20 points at 6,002. The Dow is up 140 points at 42,356. NASDAQ up 98 points at 19,619. Crude oil is up 14 cents per barrel at $74.98. Gold is up $3 an ounce, 3,410, and silver is down 22 cents an ounce at 36.93. If you have any cash grain you'd like to move or want to learn more about our freedom pricing tools, reach out and give us a call. You can reach myself, Tyler Ghosh, Jared Law, or Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, give John Hankey or John Skiles a call at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
to win a 2-year lease on a new truck. Sign up at yieldchallenge.basf.us. No purchase necessary. See official rules for details. Always read and follow label directions.
Looking for a delicious meal on the go? Stop by Cowboy Corner in Goodland, Kansas. Start your day with our classic biscuits and gravy or enjoy a fresh, made-to-order sub sandwich for lunch. Whatever you're craving, we've got you covered. Our friendly staff is always ready to serve with a smile. And while you're here, check out our convenience store, filled with snacks, drinks, and everything else you need to keep you going. Whether you're fueling up or just hungry, Cowboy Corner has something for everyone. Stop by today and enjoy great food, friendly faces, and a variety of snacks all in one spot.
From the locker room to your morning commute, it's all sports, all the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Sport!
On the Morning Blitz.
Once again, folks, going to be a hot one today. Temperatures approaching triple digits, 97 here on the high plains. We will be getting to triple digits, though, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So once again, be prepared, drink lots of fluids, stay hydrated, protect yourself, sunscreen, big hats. Our guest, Bryce Kessler, knows plenty about that kind of stuff, right, buddy? Good morning. How's it going?
Hey, man, good morning. Yeah, keep that triple-digit stuff up there with you guys. Don't send that down here to Dodge City this weekend. It's going to be plenty hot, and as my buddy Curtis Duncan would say, it's a 3-hat day down here this weekend in Dodge City with 40-mile-per-hour winds. But keep the triple-digit stuff away, keep the storms away, and we're going to have a fun Shrine Bowl this weekend.
Bryce Kessler, once again, Executive Director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl, joining me from Dodge City. That's right. I misspoke earlier. I said it was going to be in Emporia. Emporia is actually coming up in the next couple of years. It is in Dodge City this year, coming up here on Saturday. This is your Super Bowl, isn't it? It's almost like a Super Bowl week, isn't it? Everything leads into Saturday, but with all the camps and all, it's almost like a Super Bowl week for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's opening day, it's season opener, it's rivalry week, it's Super Bowl, it's every one of those combined into one. So it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of moving parts with band camp, cheer camp. Of course, both the football teams at their different campsites, and then when everybody gets to town here by tonight and tomorrow morning, we'll have all of our camps in town, and of course all of the volunteer base and the Shriners and everybody getting into town. So. It's a party. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's all for a great cause, and it's all certainly worth doing.
How has Southwest Kansas and particularly Dodge welcomed the Shrine Bowl this year? How has the support been from volunteers to facilities, all that stuff?
Yeah, it's been great. It's only the second time they've been able to host it out here in Dodge City. They hosted it back in 2019, and that was before my time being involved with the Shrine Bowl, so I can't speak. With direct experience on that 2019 game, but I know everybody enjoyed themselves out here that year, and it's been great. Facilities are awesome down here, and they're everybody's more than willing to accommodate all the particular needs of an event like ours. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of them. we're kind of a needy group, if you want to say that, just because again we have so many kids that are involved in so many different with the camps and just different activities and the different public-facing events that we put on and jam-pack into a few days. And so there's just so many moving pieces that it takes a lot of people with paying a lot of attention to things, and a lot of favors get called in, and everybody is ready to help at a moment's notice. And so it's been awesome, and we're just looking forward to finishing it off here in these next few days and chalking it up to another great year.
Do you feel like as if participation has been just as good as it's ever been across all things, cheer, band, the football game, especially in times where sometimes participation is down across some things? You feel like it's continued to be really strong?
Yeah, the cheer and the band have grown. Now, I say that this year the band is slightly down, but that's not really to do with anything other than we had to cap the numbers this year on the band camp just because of available beds in the dorms. We had to cap some numbers a little bit this year, but we sold out, if you will, what we could for the band camp numbers, and that cheer camp has consistently been right in that 180 to 200 cheerleader range, and we're right back there again this year. And of course, football, the roster sizes are what they are, so we never have any trouble really filling those. I mean, if you talk about participation, it's not because participation is down. We've seen some challenges certainly when it comes to our roster construction with the new age of college athletics, which I'm sure you spent many a times talking about on your shows and everything up there with just the the landscape of college football, college sports in general has, significantly changed over the last 3-5 years, and even within the last year. And everything is just constantly evolving with that. And that's had an impact a little bit on, the players that can and are able to play in the Shrine Bowl because of some different commitments that are required out of them at this point in time when it comes to their next stop at college. And quite frankly, just some of the financial risk, if you will, of participating in an all-star game in the summer with, college camps looming right around the corner. So, it's ever changing, but, one thing I'm fairly certain of is there's always going to be a group of players who will embrace the opportunity to come and be a part of this event and play for something more than themselves and raise money and awareness for Shriners Hospitals for Children. And on the band and the cheer side, the same thing. There's always going to be kids who want to come and be a part of it, which we're thankful for them being a part of it and helping us spread our philanthropy out into all their communities.
Once again, Bryce Kessler is our guest, executive director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. It's his Super Bowl week. This Saturday down at Memorial Stadium in Dodge City is the 52nd Kansas Shrine Bowl. When does this whole kind of thing get going? Like when you start seeing people, when do you get down to Dodge? Are you down there on Sunday or even earlier than that, getting ready for this week?
Yeah, I get into town Monday of game week, so I spend a full week Monday through Sunday, wherever that game site is, and then those first few days of the week are a lot of just putting the little pieces together, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's of just buttoning up all the different logistics. And then, by the point that today rolls around, really by this afternoon when our football team start arriving to town and stuff, and some of the more public events start happening, it's kind of, as my football coach used to say, the hay's in the barn at that point. So it's just keep it on the tracks. And at that point, what's planned is planned from that point forward. But so yeah, I spend all week in here, and this will be since the end of last year's game. This is probably my 5th trip down here to Dodge City. A different time of the year to do some planning and site visits and stuff like that. I mean, it's a multiple year process to plan each year's game. Obviously the 6 months or so directly leading up to it is when it really gets going, but when there's a lot of stuff happening with it. But it's basically a 2-3 year process really when we know where we're headed to start putting those pieces into place.
When you look at this Shrine Bowl event, actually, I want to go back to one more question about the week leading in. Practice. When does kind of practice for the football teams and stuff take place? Where does it take place? And how much involvement do you have in that? Or is that mostly put together by the teams and the coaches, the West and the East?
Yeah, so the players report on Sunday. So this past Sunday, they reported to their campsite. So they spend Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days of, essentially 3-a-days. They spend a lot of time in the practice field and in the film rooms trying to get 44 guys together to play as one, as a team. And, they're all learning outside of maybe maybe 1 or 2 kids, they're all learning a new system. And those 1 or 2 might be because they're a kid who played high school, for one of our Shrine Bowl coaches who happens to be the OC or the DC that year for the team. And so it's, it's a lot of learning. And these guys are very bright football minds. There's a reason they're some of the best in the state. And so they get the game and they understand it, so they can pick it up pretty good, but it takes a lot of work to get them all up to speed and all playing as one unit. So they practice really hard from Sunday through Wednesday. And then, Thursday they'll continue to practice here this morning, and then they'll end up traveling to wherever the game site is. And, once they get down here Friday and Saturday, not a lot of practice time. They'll get a couple of chances for a couple of little walkthroughs. And then it's showtime, Saturday night. And so they spend a lot of time in the practice room or in the practice field and in the film room. And my role on that, I don't spend any time really at the campsites other than dropping off equipment to them. And we have camp directors that kind of, a chaperone, if you will, of the camp, and kind of my liaison for the Shrine Bowl side of things at campsite, and of course our coaching staff. And I kind of lay the blueprint of structure of, okay, here's meal times, here's practice slots, and that kind of stuff. But a lot of the planning, that's on the coaches, the camp directors, to really, utilize that time in camp to the best of their abilities. And, every coach is going to do it a little different. Some of our coaches, they really try to spend every second they can in practice mode. And other coaches like to do some more of, I guess I'll call it maybe like, team building type stuff. Every coach is going to have a little bit of different philosophy on what's going to get their 44 guys to gel and play the best football together come Saturday night. And I think that, finding that perfect blend of coaching them up from the football side of it, but also getting the guys to come together and learn how to play with each other and want to play with each other. And anybody who's been around sports and has played sports knows that it's more than just X's and O's. You got to have a little bit of a want-to with each other out there and just you create that bond. And so that's what Camp Week's all about, and our coaches do a great job of accomplishing that.
Is the band and cheer camps, are they as elaborate in practice and things like that, or is it a little bit less?
Oh no, they are. They practice hard as well. The marching band, I tell you, those kids, they're out there marching hours upon hours for multiple days. They get in on Tuesday and they spend a ton of time practicing as well. And, it's in a lot of ways, it's the same thing. They've got to be in rhythm. They've got to learn how to play with each other, as far as the marching routines and everything. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into the practice time for the marching band and certainly the cheer as well. And I've never been in a cheer practice myself. So, I can't really go into the ins and outs and the X's and O's of that. But I tell you, our cheer staff, they work those girls hard too and try to get them up to speed on, it's twofold with those camps. They're not all graduated seniors. A lot of those kids might come multiple years to camp, and they're learning to be better cheerleaders, better musicians as well, to take it back to their own schools. And in addition to learning, the routines and stuff that they're going to perform when Saturday night rolls around, or Saturday rolls around really for them, because they'll both perform in the parade as well. So yeah, there's a lot of time spent practice, and they work the kids hard, and we mix in some fun, and of course we give them all an opportunity to meet our hospital patient ambassadors and go through our hospital experience, which is about a 3-hour event that each group gets to go through on Thursday or Friday, whenever their slot happens to be, and get to participate in some interactive activities and hear some stories from our patient ambassadors and, learn the real reason why they're spending all that time sweating and practicing in the heat in the summer, and to, why they're doing that and why they're helping us raise money and raise awareness. So that's always kind of a cool opportunity for them to really have it all come full circle.
Bryce Kessler, Executive Director, joining us here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. A couple more for you here. What is your favorite moment of this week? I know it's very stressful and there's lots of stuff that goes into it, but what is your favorite moment when you get to sit back and not sit back, but I guess in the moment, enjoy it?
Yeah, my favorite moment is when that clock goes to it was the fourth quarter, and the clock starts ticking down to the fourth quarter, because I know it's the home stretch now. And what's done is done. No, no, that's the first time, honestly, though, that I really just take a deep breath and like, okay, we made it. But my favorite time is the hospital experience, honestly, and I just kind of touched on that a little bit. But because that's everything that we do is that's the reason why. And it's to, when you get to see the kids, and I say the kids, I mean our camp, our campers, the football players, the cheerleaders, the band kid, when you get to see them just kind of have that okay, I get it moment, and just to see the smiles on all those kids' faces when they get to interact with our ambassadors. I've come to know our patient ambassadors pretty well, having spent now 5 years with many of them at the different Shrine Bowls each year, and just hearing their stories and getting to know them, and there's just such an awesome bunch of kids and families, their parents as well. And so it's like a big extended family of 70 people that come together once a year for a few days. And so that's the most rewarding part. That's my favorite part. The game is fun, and there's certainly no doubt about it. But to be quite honest with you, I don't get to actually watch much of the game.
Right. I know.
If you ask me in the moment after the game what happened, I would be a terrible I'd give you a terrible write-up for your recap of the game, because I get to see bits and pieces while I'm running around doing other stuff. And, I always get to go back and watch the game. And so I'll watch it afterwards so I can actually see what happened in the football game. But, so I think a lot of people enjoy watching the football game because it's really good football a lot of times, especially last year was a heck of an entertaining game. And so, that's fun for a lot of people. But what I get to actually see and invest some time and pay attention to is that hospital experience stuff. And so, that's always the good part about it. And it's it's catered towards all of our participants and things, but it's not a closed door type of an event. And so I always tell people, if you're going to be around on, Thursday or Friday of Shrine Bowl week, come out and take a part in that as well. Even if you just to fly on the wall and just kind of hang out on the sidelines and watch and hear some of the stories. I mean, it's a great opportunity. And this year at the Charity Carnival on Friday night, we're going to have a lot of that kind of stuff set up there. Some of the different activities with, you can try on the prosthetic arms and try to build the Legos with the prosthetic arms and do, try on the prosthetic leg simulator thing that you're able to, feel like what it's like to walk when you can't feel a foot, when you don't have your foot down on the ground. There's just a lot of those kind of things that our participants all get to do. But this year we're gonna have that opportunity for the general public and the families of our players and stuff to participate in as well during our Friday night event out at the Civic Center tomorrow night. So, that's what we're going to continue to do on Friday event as well, to give some people that opportunity. So that's the real cool part.
Bryce Kessler, once again, our guest, executive director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. That's why I don't ask about the game, because I know you don't know anything about it, at least until a few days later. That's why I don't ask about the game. I know where you're coming from.
That's why I get to watch the fourth quarter, pretty much.
Yeah.
The second half of the fourth quarter.
Bryce Kessler here with our fourth quarter update. What do we got in the fourth quarter, Bryce?
That's right. That's right.
No, don't ask me about the third or the second. I have no idea.
Yep.
I wanted to know, I saw the plans to move it to Emporia on kind of more of a permanent basis to an extent. What are the thoughts behind that?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say necessarily a permanent basis at this point. I mean, we do have a 3-year deal. We're going to try and run it there for the next 3 years. And, a lot of it comes down to logistically, it's becoming more and more of a challenge to find fits in different places. And it's not because people don't want to host the Shrine Bowl necessarily, but there's a lot of things that we require from dorm space and meals and the ability to feed so many people in such a short time, and then all these different accommodations. That plays a big factor. And then simply finding dates that work, that mutual dates that work for people can be tough. The KSHA calendar has really kind of stretched out essentially to June anymore, and then with the college calendars for a lot of these student athletes, by July 1, they're expected to be even earlier sometimes, on their campuses. And it's really shrunk the window of time to find a fit to be able to host us. And not to mention with these campuses having other camps and things throughout the summer, and staffing wanting to try to find time for vacation and all those things. So it's logistically, it's a challenge moving around the state all the time. There's certainly some pros to that. And the Kansas Shrine Bowl is the only one of the 13 or 14 states that have a Shrine Bowl. The Kansas Shrine Bowl is the only one that's ever not had a regular home. All the others either play in the same place every year, or they have a rotation of like 2 or 3 places that they, it's on a set rotation all the time, set date that those schools know that, hey, this is the year, or every third year we're having it on this date type of thing. That's a change. And so, it's the model we've always done is different from anybody else. And it's just gotten to the point where we've had some challenges trying to lock in some of that stuff and those dates with some places. And so Emporia was willing to kind of meet what we needed from a needs standpoint to try and get a little bit of stability to things. And so I wouldn't say necessarily permanent as far as that goes. I mean, it could it end up being, who knows? We'll see. We've got 3 years, the next 3 years, where we're gonna play there at Welch Stadium. Beautiful facility there in Emporia, and campus is just a perfect setup for all of our camp needs and the city itself. So we're excited about it, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yep. Bryce Kessler, executive director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. Bryce, before we let you go, our good friend Paul Heskett says he misses you. So I just wanted to pass that along to you. So,
Paul, I'm not a liar, so I'm not going to respond. No, I'm just kidding.
Paul, don't get me to lie, and I didn't say anything to you.
No, I miss all you guys out there as well. Of course, there's been some changes since I was around. Some people have moved on. I'm sure there's some now that I didn't know when I was out there. But no, it was some great times out there, and I enjoy hopping on with you, Ross, anytime to be able to get back on the airways out there in Goodland.
We'll have to have you back on in July for a fourth quarter update. All right, we'll have to have you back on.
There we go.
So
and by that point, I might have watched the game
in its entirety,
the broadcast archive. So then I can, maybe be able to give you more of the fourth
There you
quarter.
go. Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate it, buddy. Be good. Good luck the rest of the week.
All right, I appreciate it. And safe travels. Anybody up there, Goodland area, coming down to watch Rhett Irick play Saturday night down here in the Shrine Bowl.
Thank you, Bryce. Once again, great stuff there from Bryce Kessler, Executive Director of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. Yeah, that's right. Rhett Irick is one of the guys that's playing for Goodland. He'll be there. Scott City's own Jackson Rumford is playing in the game this year. So is Norton's Eli Jones. A lot of my favorite Northwest Kansas athletes are participating this year down there for the West All-Stars. Got to mention that there are some coaching. Plainville's Alex McMillan's one of the coaches there. Goodland folks know all about Heston football from them knocking out in the playoffs, but Heston's Carter Gonzalez, the big running back, is playing in the game. Their coach, Tyson Bowerly, is coaching as well. Butch Hayes, who was at Ellis High for a long time now, Council Grove, is one of the West coaches as well. So a lot of Northwest Kansas ties to this year's Shrine Bowl game, which once again is Saturday, 5 o'clock. The doors open at Dodge City's Memorial Stadium. Kickoff at 7 o'clock there from Dodge City for the 52nd Kansas Shrine Bowl. All right, we got to get to break. We'll come back, wrap the show with the walk-off next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Summer deals are heating up at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now,